message.
Nifty move there by Evgeni Malkin, and here comes Malkin. In across the line, Malkin gets around Letang, fires, and Pogge makes the stop on Evgeni Malkin.
Here comes Letang right after Malkin. They're going to challenge him. They're not giving him a free pass, and that's how you have to play him, head on and hard on him. But Malkin's got the speed, and he's got the ability to go north-south, Gordon, then east-west. Christopher Letang's a very good skater, just can't contain him, and Justin Pogge with the big glove save. So while you look at Malkin and his north-south speed, also...
Khudobin.
That's inside.
High off the glass, and we've got a penalty coming up again to Russia, and it's going to be Alexei Emelin again.
And they're mad because Malkin's a target. Emelin and Malkin play together on the power play, and they're very good friends. And it all starts in the neutral zone. Dustin Boyd leaning on Malkin. You don't think this guy has a target on his back? Bingo! Then later on in the sequence, Khudobin goes down to the puck. Emelin slashes down. Como racing for the puck.
And the Russians angry about that call. They might have a point. With Steve Downey, and Downey's up swinging.
Wow, this is perfect for Team Canada. This is what they want. They want to engage the Russians in a board type of game. They want to keep everything along the wall and physically dominate the Russians. If the Russians want to retaliate, that's fine with Brent Sutter and the rest of his team. Malkin, we've already seen him devastated with a big body shot early in the game. He's getting a little wacko out there. And remember, against the Americans, he had to be restrained later on in that game because he lost his temper. Canada's trying to do the very same thing to him.
The face-off will come outside. That play is offside. Barker and Malkin get tangled up. It's by him. Emelin waiting, shoots through traffic, bounces down to Pogge, and a pounce on that with Evgeni Malkin looking for a rebound.
Gord, the whole game plan was predicated on shutting down Evgeni Malkin. You angle him, you get physical with him, angle him. That means getting running him to the outside of the wall. Can't skate through the boards. Angle again, everything's inside out. He loves to go north-south, but he's a very creative east-west player. But it's all about angling. Brent Sutter's been selling that to his players, and I can tell you, they have bought in big time.
As who is on the score sheet is who isn't. Evgeni Malkin, 2 shots on goal for 2.
Or the Russians like to play 5-man units, while so do the Canadians when Evgeni Malkin is involved. So if you watch guys like Dustin Boyd, Blake Como, Steve Downey, Ryan Parent, Mark Stahl, that's the 5-man units given the assignment of shutting down Evgeni Malkin. And they have done a tremendous job of it. They're keeping him to the outside, not allowing his passing to be a factor, and that's really hurt Zubov and Kulemin.
Downey. Steve Downey moves ahead. Penalty coming up to Russia. And Kulemin steps in. Boyd rips that wide. And just 27 seconds into the period, they're going to call a hook
Malkin
on Evgeni Malkin.
Yep. And this is a frustration point. Bob McKenzie said it so well in the pregame show. This guy's a virtuoso. So against virtuosos, you try to drive them nuts. Malkin with the active stick on Boyd, there's part of the zero tolerance. This is Malkin's second penalty in the game, and it's because Canada's had a well-devised scheme to shut him down. Gord, one thing, there's a little change for the Russian line. Zubov usually plays with Malkin and Kulemin. They've taken him off that line. Now they've got on that line Enver Leeson, who's a tremendous speedster, trying to open up more ice for Malkin to make plays. You want to know why guys get drafted in the first round? Closing speed, especially for defensemen. Malkin is the second pick overall in the 2004 entry draft. Ryan Parent comes back so hard and so smart and so fast. His closing speed on Malkin is exceptional. Look at Malkin, and you don't even see Parent yet. There's a closing speed right there. That is spectacular by Ryan Parent.
Malkin comes in. Evgeni Malkin working on Mark Stahl. Can't get going, rather. Mark Stahl just stood up Malkin, and he went nowhere.
And Malkin better get used to it, because Mark Stahl is going to be playing for the New York Rangers, and Malkin's going to play for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Mark Stahl is going to be a human eraser whenever he plays Malkin.
His way in. Off the side of the goal. Pogge gloves that, and again, there's no rebound. And Katov gets a stick in there late.
Because Downey went and bumped Malkin. Downey is just, he would be considered an illness in Russia. He's driving Malkin crazy.
Justin Pogge hasn't lost a start since November.
Said before the game, Canada would have to play a perfect game. They played a perfect game. They played...
For the Russians, the players of the tournament, Alexei Emelin Evgeni Malkin, and the goalie, Anton Hudobin. And now we await the top 3 Canadian players in the tournament.
The selection as the best forward, the meilleur attaquant du tournoi de la Russie from Russia, Evgeni Malkin.
It is Evgeni Malkin from Russia. Tied for the most points in the tournament with Phil Kessel, was an absolute force in the preliminary round and in the semifinals against the Americans.
And a very classy response from the fans here in Vancouver. Would have been easy to get upset because a Canadian didn't get picked, but Evgeni Malkin, in spite of being frustrated in this game, has been outstanding through this tournament. And not today. He's not the best player outside of the NHL today, but he has been that for the rest of this season. And the fans here in Vancouver recognize that.
And how good is it going to be to see Sidney Crosby and Evgeni Malkin on the same ice next year in Pittsburgh, assuming it is still Pittsburgh. The number 2 pick overall behind Alexander Ovechkin in the draft 2 years ago. Decided to stay in Russia this year, but will join the Pittsburgh Penguins next year. And the way the Penguins are going, they may get another top draft pick. Maybe a Phil Kessel or maybe an Eric Johnson right at the top of the list.
They gave up only 6 goals in the tournament, although you could argue that it was 7. There was controversy in this game. Make no mistake about that. When the score was 2-0, the Russians scored a goal. They did not get the video review done in time. The puck was dropped and the goal did not count. And that's a shame because who knows whether the outcome would have been any different. Certainly, the momentum would have been stemmed a little bit for Canada. But having said all that, Canada played in the wake of that as perfect a game as you could imagine in recording a 5-0 victory over the Russians.
And just so you know, as they present these silver medals to the Russians, a Russian delegation came to our production truck wanting to see the replay of the goal that was not. They continue to complain to the IHF.